All right. Hello and welcome, everyone. We're excited that you're able to join us this afternoon for our December Alive Academy. Just a few housekeeping items. You are on mute. We're going to use the question and answer section for questions and then the chat box as well throughout the presentation. We will post a link for feedback as well during the end of the session in the chat. So keep an eye on that. We really do value your feedback and look forward to hearing about what you're looking forward to for some of our presentations in 2025. We are recording this session, as Gretchen said, and it will be available later for your consumption. We do have a few exciting announcements we wanted to share. We just recognized our Impact Award recipients, both our emerging and exemplary leaders. So you can read more about these folks and what they're doing to advance the work of volunteer engagement in their own organizations on our website. We also, tomorrow is our annual Alive meeting. And so we hope that you will join us. We will do a review of 2024. We'll introduce Nicole, who you get to meet today, who is our new executive director. We'll talk about some board elections and then vote on our revised bylaws. So please make sure, if you're able to, join us for that. We do have a meet and greet as well coming up in December. So next week. So if you are interested and want to get some more time with Nicole, especially after today's presentation, click on that link, register. We would love to have you join us for that. If you are doing some shopping, we would love for you to consider supporting us. We've got some really great merch out on our website that's available for your perusal. We're also looking for volunteers to get involved. And so I think sometimes folks are, concerned about the amount of time that it may require. And we've got some opportunities that could really help with professional development while not taking a ton of time. So would love, if you're interested, to hear from you. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to the new Live Executive Director, Nicole R. Smith. We are so excited to have you and hear from you today. Nicole, take it away.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. As I pull this up, I just want to talk a little bit about timing of everything. Hold on. Is it sharing? No, I didn't hit share, right? Where'd I go? There I am. Let me hit share, actually. That might help. Okay. Okay. I wanted to talk a little bit about the timing of everything. Just because it's like I'm doing this today and then the annual meeting tomorrow and then the meet and greet, it all just kind of worked out. None of this was planned. So it's a lot of me. And then come January, then, I'll take a back seat. But anyway, I am so excited to be here. And just I wanted to introduce myself, and for anybody, if we have anybody who is like low vision or blind, I wanted to do a quick audio description. I am Black Latina. I have a black and green dress that has flowers and polka dots on it. My hair is in long dreads and it's tied up around my head. So today we're going to be talking a little bit about making it through the holiday season, right? And so I heard somebody say this, and they said, Nicole, no is a complete sentence. And I love that. And I took it and I ran with it. Thank you, Tim Suda, if you're out there. Okay. So the learning objectives we're going to talk about today is understanding what self-care is and the vital importance of it in terms of impact of ineffective leadership, to help identify signs of burnout and stress, trying to develop self-care habits for long-term sustainability, and effective boundary management. So a lot of times people have this idea of what they think, leaders of volunteers do. We just hang around and drink cocktails and just have this great life. I mean, we do, but we also do a lot of other things, right? And with the holidays coming around, sometimes people are doing year-end parties or they're wrapping up reporting, or there's just a whole lot that's going on. All the volunteers are inviting you to all of their end of year parties, and there's department parties, and just all these things are going on in addition to, oh yeah, it's year end for, if your calendar year ends in December, and we need to get all of these things in. And oh, by the way, the person who you are relying on to get it done is going to be out for the last 2 weeks of the year. So there's a lot going on. And so we're trying to do all these things, we're trying to manage, and it just can be overwhelming and just seems stressful because volunteer leaders tend to be yes people, and we don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. We want to, but we also have like a very high propensity to get stuff done, right? So we're like, yes, we can do it. Yes, we can do it. Yes, we can do it. But then we end up like stressing ourselves out. And then we're going home and we have to handle some people, if you have kids, you're dealing with kids or whatever family life is at home. It could be you're working, it could be dogs, it could be another job, it could be other family members, you could be caretakers, but whatever it is, when you leave your day job, there's a whole nother life waiting for you when you get home. So you're doing all of these events, you're pleasing all of these people, and then you do an event, and what happens? You end up laid out on the floor. This was an actual picture after an actual event, because it's literally how I felt. After the event, I just laid out on the floor because it was too much. I had drained all of my energy. I had said yes to everybody. I got it all done, but there was nothing left for me. And then what do? We do it all over again. And it just goes into this pattern. So today I want to talk a little bit about how we get out of that pattern. I want to remind you that self-care is not optional. It is not optional. And especially going into the holidays, we're already in the midst of it. Mariah Carey is singing her glory, right? All of these things are happening, but we have to take care of ourselves. It is absolutely vital that we do. It is not oh, maybe I should. It is, no, we need to stop and do what we need to do, because if we don't, if we're not around and we're not well and we're not rested, how can we help others, right? Literally, I had this conversation with some mentees the other day, and I was like, take care of yourself and all this kind of stuff. And I had just come back from Canada, from doing the hybrid conference and doing all these things. And I had another job that I was doing, just like all of these things. And for the first time in my life, I overslept at a job that I had to go to. I had never overslept. And it was really funny because the day before I had just told my supervisor, I was like, my goal is to make it to the end of the year without oversleeping. And because the thing is, my shift starts at 5 o'clock in the morning. So I have to be up at 4 and leave the house at 4:30. And I was like, I've never been late, and my goal is to never be late. But I didn't take care of myself after going on that vacation, coming back from Canada, going to work, doing all these other things, preparing to start with a live, all this kind of stuff. I came home, slept through it right the next day. And it is literally what we are talking about today. You have to take care of yourself. So one of the things I want you to think of, we're going to do a little test here. Think about what your dream car is, right? I mean, this may not necessarily be it. It's not necessarily mine, but what is your dream car, right? Is it, an old classic? Is it more of a sports car, kind of like zooming through? Or is it more like that rugged, off-road type of thing? Or it could even be an electric car, right? Maybe an electric car. So the thing about all of these is that they require gas and they require service, right? It doesn't matter. You can have the most expensive, best car in the world. If you don't put gas in it, it is going to stop. On us also, if you don't maintain your car, if you don't check the oil, and listen, you don't necessarily have to do it. You could take it to the dealer or have somebody do it. But if that oil isn't getting checked and the fluids aren't getting checked and you're just not doing that routine maintenance, and all of a sudden things start happening, and then at the most inopportune time, car stops, right? We're the same. If cars that are like built and man-made, and they have all these things and systems put into place, hey, you have to do this if you want to keep going, you have to do this if you want to maintain. If they won't keep going, how much do we need it? we as human beings, right? We as living on a daily basis, if we don't maintain ourselves and replenish ourselves and give ourselves energy and just tap back into what we need, we're not gonna make it either. We're gonna stop. That could be oversleeping. It could be not feeling well. It could be getting sick. All of these different things play into that. Let me tell you, selflessness is not sexy. You don't want to end up like the gnome. Like this was literally me a couple of slides ago. It's not sexy. Um, so here's the thing. We know that we're supposed to do all of this, but why don't we do it? Why don't we've heard it over and over and over. And that's why I wanted to do this session right as we're heading into the holidays, because it's more of a reminder, because we've all heard this 100 times, but why don't we do it? Oh, well, there's not enough time. I can't carve out time to go and do and take time for myself, or the things that I really want to do, it costs too much money. I don't have the money to maintain myself the way that I would love to maintain myself. Or this is the best one. Everybody needs me. Back to that. Yes, I'm here to say yes to my kids and yes to the dog and yes to my spouse and yes to my job and yes to the donors and the volunteers, saying yes to everybody. If I take this time out, I'm not going to be able to say yes to them, and they need me. They need me. Well, here's the thing. Taking care of yourself and being in a position to be healthy enough to be able to do the things for the very people who are relying on you, if it's important to you, you will find a way. If not, you'll find an excuse. And let me tell you, if you don't make time to take care of yourself, your body will make the time for you. And usually most inconveniently. I know the hospital bed is a little like extreme, but it's happened. I've been in positions where I've ignored my body, I ignored the signs, and one time I literally ended up in the hospital with walking pneumonia because I ignored the signs. I was like, oh, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine. So it could be as severe as going to the hospital, and it could be, just as small as oversleeping or being super agitated with people in your life who are not doing anything to you, but you're just so tired and you're so frustrated and so much is going on that you're taking it out on the dog, you're taking it out on your friends, that kind of thing, right? So I just want to remind you that self-care isn't selfish, right? And to me, the definition of selfish is doing things for yourself that only affect you, right? I like to tell people to be self-centered. If you're self-centered, that means you're centering yourself first because you have to be in a good place. But it also, you're doing it in a good place so that you can be there for others and do for others. Selfish is like, it is all about me and only me, and it doesn't matter how it affects you at all. I don't care because it's all about me. That's the difference to me. And taking care of yourself is not selfish. It is it's and it's not it's self-centered. It's doing what you need to do so that you can be that for who you need to be. So let's talk about a couple of ways to refuel. Number one is set healthy boundaries. A lot of people don't like to set boundaries, and they're afraid that people will get upset. They're afraid that people will think of them in a negative light. But listen, the only people who do not approve of you setting boundaries are those who no longer benefit from you not having any. The people who are just so used to you saying yes, 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 and it completely inconveniencing yourself, they're the ones that are just like, oh my gosh. But somebody who really cares about you, who understands, if you set that boundary, they'll be like, cool, let's work around it. If you can't do it, then what can we do? But you have to set those boundaries. People are not going to set them for you because we are all opportunists, and everybody is going to take advantage of people as much as they can, even the most well-meaning of people, especially if I'm not that much in relationship with you, right? I'm just going to ask you stuff based upon what I need. And it's up to you to set that boundary. It's up to you to set that boundary because I don't know you well enough to know that this is like the 600th thing that you got asked today, but you're going to just say yes. Because if I know that that's the type of person you are, I may not even ask, or I'll change how I ask, but that comes through relationship, right? And also if you are in relationship with people, even more so, they're going to understand and they're going to encourage you to set those boundaries. So do not be afraid to set boundaries. Do not be afraid to say no. Now, what I am going to say is, don't say no with an attitude like, no, I'm not like, you don't have to be like that, right? But there's ways that you can communicate it, right? So I'm unavailable at that particular time, but what I can do, I can make these dates and times. Or if I take on this project, what other projects need to fall off my schedule in order to get this done? Or where does it need to lie in the priority? Or if somebody usually, if somebody comes up to you and it's last minute and it's that whole their lack of planning, their emergency and their urgency does not make it mine, right? And there's ways that you can be nice about it, right? Because sometimes things happen, but you can be nice about it. My schedule is already set and I'm already committed, but I would love to help you in the future. If you can let me know like 3 or 4 days in advance or whatever that time frame is, I will absolutely be there for you. I'll do my best to either block it off on the calendar or adjust my schedule to accommodate, right? So just because you were saying no doesn't mean say no with an attitude, but say no with intention because you understand that it's what you need in order to be the best that you can be. One of the things that I had to do when I used to work in the theater is I did not work on Saturdays. Specifically and particularly for religious reasons, I did not work on Saturdays. And so what I would make sure and do is Friday night, every question that my coworkers could have possibly had, I made sure and put everything in an email, not necessarily for them to have to read, but if they have a question, they know that they could just Google, they could just do a search for the subject of the email and find the answer in that email. And it would be, weekend of, and it would be this particular weekend so that they would know where to go if they had a question. And I would say for the first 6 weeks, I would still get a call on a Sunday. And I mean, on a Sunday, on a Saturday. And I'd be like, oh my gosh, it must be an emergency. What's going on? Something must be burning down. And I would be like, okay. And I would answer. I would go against my own will and I would answer because I wanted to be there for them. I wanted to make sure they were a team player and if they had everything that they needed because it was in a theater. So, stuff was always going on the weekends. And I would answer the phone and they would ask me something that was literally like the second bullet point in the email. And I was just like, that's in the email, right? That's in that email. So the next couple of times, then I would try to readjust how I did the email, maybe the timing of when I sent it. I would, mark it urgent so it'd be easier to find. I would highlight certain things. I was doing all of these things and they just were not paying attention to it. They just were not paying attention to it and they were calling and I was answering the phone. And then what was happening is I was getting frustrated because I was getting upset that they kept calling. And it wasn't until I had the revelation, well, the only reason why they keep calling is because I keep answering the phone. If I stop answering the phone, one or two things are going to happen. Either they're going to have to figure it out themselves, or then maybe they'll go look for the email for the answer that they need. The first 2 or 3 times, it was very difficult because I was like, well, what if this time it really is an emergency? But I was like, no, I am not going to answer the phone. It is important for my sanity and for my health and my mental well-being to be able to completely check out that one day and do what I need to do to refresh and replenish and rejuvenate my soul, my spirit, my life, right? Connecting with my family. It was extremely important. So I stopped answering the phone. And it was hard. I'm not gonna lie, it was hard that the first 2 or 3 times, but eventually they stopped asking. And then the joke became, well, listen, do whatever you need to do, but don't call on a Saturday because you're not gonna answer. And I'm like, yes, you are exactly right. I am not gonna answer. But that same issue, if it's there on Saturday, it'll be there on Sunday. If it, unless somebody, and depending on the field that you are in, this could be more relevant than not, but unless somebody is like dying and going to the hospital and there's just something like the place is burning down, they knew respect her boundary. But also, you know what that did? It let them know that if they respect my boundaries, I will also respect theirs. So it built mutual relationship as well. But you just have to have the courage to do it. So here's some ways just thinking about setting those healthy boundaries. It's remember, it's not your job to fix everybody. It's okay if others get angry, especially if they don't have your best interest at heart. You explain what the situation is, and if they're not willing to work with you and they just get upset and throw up their arms and walk away, then maybe that wasn't somebody that it was even worth breaking your boundary for to begin with. Again, it's okay to say no. It's not your job to take responsibility for others. If it's in somebody's wheelhouse and they need to do it, let them do it. Because also, if you keep covering for people and enabling them, they're going to keep expecting you to rescue them. Sometimes you got to just let things fall and let people know that they have to be accountable to themselves as well. You don't always have to anticipate the needs of others. Sometimes it's just a matter of having that conversation, and then they can't provide it for you, then, do what you need to do to help you get through what you need to get through. But you don't always have to be always thinking about the needs of others. It is not, um, it says it's not my job to make me happy, but that's not right. It's not your job to make others happy, right? Happiness is a choice. People can experience at the same situation, and some people can choose to be upset about it for a month, and some people can choose to just let it go. Happiness is a choice. So if somebody's upset with you, that is their choice to be upset with you. If you've done everything that you can and you've tried to work and they still choose that, that is on them. Release it, let that go. Don't take that on. Um, Not everybody has to agree with you on certain things, right? You can agree to disagree, set that boundary, keep it moving, right? You don't, everybody doesn't have to always agree. Give people the freedom to disagree and then keep it moving. Um, you do have the right to your own feelings. You have the right to be able to feel how you feel about a decision and a situation that you've created and a decision that you've made. So don't be afraid of that. And always remember that you are enough. You are enough for whatever it is that you need to do. But also, when you're setting those boundaries, in order for you to be enough, you have to set those boundaries so that you can do what you need to do to be enough. So I hope that makes sense. Another thing, delegate, right? So if you are going to be a yes person, then also learn how to be a here you go, yes, and here you go. Just don't yes, and hold on to it. Learn to delegate. And even when you are being delegated to, ask questions to help. When is this due by? How do you need it? What is the form that you need it in? Is there get that information, because that's the opportunity to where you can say, at this time, and depending on who's delegating it to you, right? Because, especially if it's your supervisor and they're trying to delegate something, they'll be like, no, I'm trying to put my boundaries up. Like, have a good conversation, right? Get an understanding, what is the deadline? What are all these things? And then go back to what I had mentioned earlier. Okay, so if I do this, what needs to come off of my plate? Because these are the things that I've already been asked to do, and these are the deadlines. So what needs in, and I'm happy to do it, but something's got to fall off. Sometimes people don't even realize that they're giving you so much until you speak up and say something and help to work it through. And don't be afraid that, like, oh, they don't think that I can handle my job. No, just give them the reality, and you tell them, like, I want to make sure that I do the best and I get this to you, and I don't want it to fall through the cracks. And, maybe there's other things that I can delegate to my volunteers so that I can make sure to get this to you, so you can still make it a positive conversation, without having to be in a position of making it sound like, oh, I can't get my job done. But turning it around to, like, in order for me to be better at my job, I need this information from you. Eat healthy. I know it stinks and it's the holidays, and this is almost an oxymoron, because I'm not going to talk about the 3 pies that I have in my fridge, the toffee that's on my counter, the muffins that were just baked. And this is all like within the last 2 weeks, right? But we have to make those choices to eat healthy, because the healthier you eat, the better you feel. And it got to the point where I literally have to be like, choose life. Meaning if I'm holding up the amazing warm pumpkin muffin next to the pumpkin pie and the pumpkin bread that all just came out of the oven at the same time and it's cold down here. I mean, cold for Florida, but whatever. Cold, right? And it's warm and it smells amazing. And then there's an apple. Choose life. What is going to be better for me in this particular time? Choose life, right? Now, I'm not saying that I can't ever choose the warm baked goods, but if I'm choosing it all the time and I'm not replenishing and giving my body the nutrients that it needs to make me feel better so that I can be of sound mind, so that I can think better, so that I don't get as agitated so quickly because I've eaten, like I said, I've eaten what I needed, I've gotten the rest, I can function better. Sometimes I have to choose life more often than not, if that makes sense. So I just wanted to throw out a couple of things that can, that you can think about for me time. Even extroverts, right? Still need me time. It might feel different. Introverts, their me time is a little different. I'm definitely an introvert. I am this guy right here. Give me a book, close the door. I've been at parties and have finished novels because I'm good. Like I don't need to be around a whole lot of people. I just a good book and a warm cup of tea, and I am happy, right? Um, so even if you are more of an extrovert and you need to and you prefer to be around people, but be around people who are going to pour into you and get and energize you, and they're just not people around you who are always sucking your energy, taking the energy from you all the time. So just some suggestions, reading, spending time with family that pour into you, perhaps going to the beach, maybe hiking, taking a staycation, test driving a car. Do you understand how amazing that is? Go up to like the Bentley dealer. I don't know if they let you test drive Bentleys, but maybe an Audi, something, but just go and get that feeling of, oh, yes, they don't know because they're taught you can't judge people by how their appearance is when they walk in. They have to treat you like you are going to buy that car today. Just go test drive a car. Feel good about yourself. I'm just saying, it's a good time. Um, Hobbies, like do dance lessons or just sometimes literally carve time out on your calendar. And I mean carve. And I say carve because putting time on your calendar is different. There are times where people are going to be asking for your attention and everybody's going to need you. And you are like, no, I have carved out this hour, and come hell or high water, this is going to be my time. Listen, I had a daughter and I would go to the bathroom and she'd be sitting right outside the bathroom. But I was like, listen, that door is not open. And she was in her 20s. I was like, the door's not opening. This is my time. If I have to escape in the bathroom and not open the door for 30 minutes, then that is my boundary. But I needed my me time, right? So it could be something where you're literally just doing nothing. Maybe it's a nap, but just time where you can think and, pour into yourself and just not even think, just be. Just be sometimes is what you might need. Oh, um, getting exercise, move. They say recommended 30 minutes a day. It gets the blood going. It gets, your circulation going, which in overall, it just helps your overall health. Um, there's this really, really great article published by Harvard Health Publishing, which is really I think I have the link somewhere. I'll find it. And again, all of these things are things that we know, right? Things that we know, but I thought it was really great. It's like we should exercise and we know it, but why we don't do it? Why don't we do it? Really great. Just, hey, it's that time of year, New Year's, right? Just don't think of it not as work. Maybe it's going out for a bike ride. Maybe it's just going for a nice walk. Um, maybe it's roller skating. Do people even do that anymore? Oh, maybe it's rollerblading. I don't know, but something to move and just, especially like if you are like me and you work from home, making sure that you get up and get that time in to get that walk in or whatever. But if you're in an office building, if you can take the stairs instead of an elevator, look for little things like that, right? You may not necessarily be able to go for a full workout, but all the opportunities that you have that you can get those extra steps in or whatever that might look like, try doing that as well. Consider taking out time to meditate or speak with the counselor. Sometimes that's a really great way to force things and put stuff on your calendar to have that time just to talk things through. Um, the great Rob Jackson had an article about his top 6 apps for helping with well-being. I dropped that in here, and I think I have the link to that presentation as well. I mean, not to the presentation, but to that article. So I'll see if I can find that as well too. Um, Most importantly, though, I want you to think about how you are treating yourself, right? How are you talking to yourself and forgive yourself, right? The first 2 or 3 times, like this setting boundary stuff is not easy. It's just not. Um, and so you might fail a couple of times, but think of it as failing forward, right? Um, think of it's so important because you might even be like, well, how do I even know if I'm burnt out, or how do I know that I'm really actually fine, right? Well, if couple of things, if you really dread going into work on Monday, that could be a sign that you are burnt out and you need a break. Even if you love your job, it could still be a sign. If you are um like I had mentioned before, if you're constantly agitated or upset or snapping at people, or just you feel like you're just lethargic and you just can't do another thing, and when you get to the point, and again, and this is if you love your job. If you don't like your job, I mean, it's even that much more. But if you get to a point where you're like, oh, I don't even care, I don't even want to get it done, those are those signs that maybe it might be time that you need that break. I mean, we get sick days and holidays. How many of you all have rolled over every holiday that you've had for the last 20 years that you've been at your organization because you never took the day? Take that time, right? And that where that delegating comes in, right? As leaders of volunteers, start training up teams of volunteers, have leadership volunteers so that when you do go and take those 2 or 3 days off, you have volunteers that are helping to keep things running while you're gone. Maybe they're checking emails for you. Maybe they're doing certain outreach that you don't have to completely when you come back. Because that's the other thing, right? You're like, oh, I'm going to take those 3 days, but when I come back, I have like twice the work. So start learning and training up other volunteers. People will raise their hand. Train up volunteers, ask people for help, put yourself in a position to be able to step away for 2 or 3 days and everything still runs and you can be okay with it. Because there's nothing like worrying about everything that's going on back at the job, because then even though you took those 2 or 3 days, you really didn't, because you were so focused about what's going to happen because I'm not there. Do yourself a favor, do yourself a favor and do yourself a favor and be nice to yourself and set up your work in such a way that if you do step away, things the things like the operational stuff can still happen. That can still happen and you can rest. So forgive yourself, right? And encourage yourself. Especially when you don't want to do it, encourage yourself, right? Especially when you don't want to do it. I have all of these coming. The only time left on the calendar is the one block. And it could be during the workday, it could be during the weekend, it could be whatever it is, and it's that one block. Encourage yourself. You can do it. Think of me in your head going, "Si se puede, you can do it," right? You can do it. Hold tight to that boundary as best as possible. Another thing that can help is having an accountability partner who is walking through this with you, who can check in on you and be like, hey, did you take that time today? When was the last time that you did something for yourself? When was the last time that you took that break? And now, listen, I'm not saying that it has to be every day. You don't have to like carve out a day, every day from like 8 to 3 on your calendar talking about this is my time, right? You don't have to do that. Like work within reason. Maybe it's once a month. Maybe it's once a quarter. You know yourself best, but however it works out, you need to do it. And get your friends and family involved. If it's a matter of having somebody to watch your fur baby or your human baby, right? Having babysitters or dog sitters or you know, have somebody hold you accountable to your calendar. Like maybe have them put it on there and you can't cancel the calendar the block out on your calendar. Whatever it is, don't go through it alone. Have somebody do it with you because it helps. Maybe block it off and you spend that with somebody. Whatever it is, don't do it by yourself. If you don't feel like you're strong enough, especially in those first couple of takes, if you think you're gonna cave and you just get like, oh my gosh, if another volunteer asks me and they say please because you're the only one that can do it, and you know you're gonna fold, you know you're gonna crumble. Have a phone a friend and call them and then let them say, don't do it, right? Whatever you need to do to really try to hold to that and be able to say no in the most gracious possible manner. Think of like Dolly Parton saying no, right? Like, however that might look. But having accountability partner can help you get through that. And then when you do, like in all things, celebrate the small wins. Gift yourself, right? The first time you did it, and I'm telling you it's hard when you do it, but the more you do it, the better you feel and then you become empowered and you're like, I dare somebody to come and take out my time. I'm waiting for the no. I wish you would say because I'm ready to say no, right? You get empowered because you end up feeling so much better and you can operate better and you think better and you are better for those who need you. Gift yourself, go get a massage, celebrate your small wins, be kind to yourself. In this season of giving, don't forget yourself. Don't forget you. Because you matter and nobody's going to love you the way you love you. So you can train people how to love and appreciate you by how you treat yourself. Quick example. I when I worked in an office at a job, uh a couple of coworkers, I don't know, I never went to lunch because I was speaking of creating boundaries. This is an example of what not to do because I never went to lunch because I was a team of one and I was managing 200 volunteers and interns and running around doing all these things, and they all went to lunch, and I don't remember why or what, but they brought something back for me. And that always makes me a little leery because I'm like, oh, what are people going to bring me to eat? Because there's just certain things I cannot eat in the middle of the day because it'll put me flat out, just straight asleep, right? So they brought me and they're like, oh, Nicole, here's a salad. And I was like, oh, this is so great because they didn't ask. They just brought me a salad. And I was like, oh, this is so great. How did you know? They're like, oh, well, we watch and we see you eat a salad every day. So we knew that this is something that you would like. Because they saw how I treated myself, that is how they also treated me, because they know that I try to eat healthy and because they know that I need that time. That's also how so you train people, watch how you treat yourself, and they learn from you how to treat you. You are the author of that. So remember that and put those boundaries into place because it is absolutely a win-win situation. So don't be the gnome. Don't be this guy. Don't be me at the earlier, those slides earlier, just laid out on the floor, literally face down, can't move, exhausted, literally. Like, can somebody just put a straw in my mouth or just put a tube and feed me intravenously because I'm so tired that I can't even feed myself because I exhausted myself. Don't be that person. Remember the airline. Put your mask on first. Again, it's all things that we have heard before, but I just wanted to do a reminder as we go into the holiday season. Put your mask on first. You cannot help others if you yourself are struggling. Set those boundaries, hold tight to them. Listen to your body, listen to how you are responding and reacting, and get an accountability partner to help you through it. And you're going to find that you're going to be so much better off for it. So, I'm wishing you an amazing holiday season. And maybe one of your New Year's resolutions is set, and not necessarily set better boundaries, but set stronger boundaries. Just like, don't even like crack open the door. Like, no means no. Sorry, I got a little excited. But anyway, thank you all for joining me for this day. I just want to remind you, as we're going through the holiday season, to be kind to yourself, set those boundaries, and get through January. Thrive through it. Don't survive the holiday season. Thrive through it. All right. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you, Nicole. We do have a little bit of time. I don't know if anybody has any questions that they want to share, if they want to come off mute. We have just a little bit of time we can allow for that. Such a great presentation. I love that. Remember the airlines. Put your mask on first. Oh, there is a question in the chat box. Let's see.
Oh, yes, fudge. I just saw somebody say yes. Ooh, fudge. Yes.
Nicole, I mentioned that fudge has got to be in a food group,
Oh, it has to be.
at
It
least a couple.
Oh, just thinking about it right now. Thanks, Gretchen. Now I think I'm gonna have to head down there and just line them up.
Nicole, the question from the Q&A was, what were the habit apps that were recommended?
Oh, those apps. Let me see. I can go back to the presentation here. And in the recap with like resources and things like that, I'll be sure to find the article where he lists all of them. Okay, so these are the recommendations from the Rob Jackson. The apps, one of them is called Streaks. Oh, I guess I could share this page. Let me see if I do that.
I'll stop sharing.
Oh, okay. Let me share this. Dang it. Okay. Okay, so it was Streaks, Calm, Waterminder, Countdown, Day One, and Apple Fitness Plus. And these recommendations were from a couple of years ago, so surely there's more now. Any great Google search or going into the App Store, I'm sure you could find anything that will be catered and tailored to your particular interests.
Nicole, this is Gretchen, and I might add, this is also a great opportunity to reach out to those colleagues that you have met and networked with through being an Alive member, because it is also very helpful to be able to just pick up the phone and call somebody, and you could just go directly to the issue that you need help with, rather than trying to explain volunteer management 101. Being able to reach out to a colleague during the holidays is, I find, especially gratifying. And usually you can find someone who can just listen and understand. They may not have an answer, but it always helps to just talk it out.
Exactly.
There's another question in the chat box.
Sure.
Tips on how to delegate when you strongly feel that the results might be satisfactory to yourself, maybe if you do it yourself.
Yes. I say look at the bigger picture. If in the short term, if it's like a one-off thing and it's just like, I'm just going to go to the copy machine and just do this because by the time I show you how to use the copy machine and do all this, it could have been done. If it's a one-off thing, I would say just do it. But if it's something that is going to be recurring, and even though in this moment it could be faster, but it could save you time down the line, take the extra 15 to 20 minutes, make sure somebody knows how to do it, because now you have just saved yourself 3 or 4 hours instead of 3 or 4 minutes. That's the biggest thing that I would say. And that's the biggest thing that I would say is like look at the bigger picture of it all and then make the determination. Look at time frame and so in bigger picture, like how much time do you have to teach this person? Is it a skill that is going to upskill them? And now you're also, not only are you helping you, but you're also helping them learn something new. And I used a copy machine because when I worked with interns in an office, you don't realize that they didn't grow up with those things. And so you'd be like, hey, go make a copy. And they're like, what is this? How do you hit buttons? I'm like, how have you never? Oh, that's right. They don't have copy machines. They barely even have paper in schools. So going and making copies was just like, whoa. So sometimes you don't even realize, how you are helping people learn. But I think that would be the biggest thing is look at the bigger picture and will it save you, if it's going to save you more time, bigger picture in the future, take the inconvenience of the time now to make it happen to save you gobs more time on the end. Oh, I like that. The Finch, which is a gamified self-care app that has a solid free version, and has found it very helpful in managing to-do lists. Yes.
There's another one in the question and answer box. What if you say no to something and get pushback?
Can you give me an example, or are you just talking about in general? Because that's very contextual. It depends on the situation. So can you share an example without like, going too much into detail if that's okay?
This one came in from an anonymous attendee.
Okay.
So maybe just how would you navigate that if
Yeah.
somebody's pushing back on it?
So if I set my boundary and there is pushback, the first thing that I'm going to ask is why, or try to get an understanding of where that is coming from. Is it that there's a deadline that they absolutely need and they think I'm the only one that can get it solved? Is it, for instance, is it they want to have this meeting and, at this particular time or like you set a time and they're like, no, can we do it another time? And you're like, and they're like, well, no. And you're like, well, why? And I know this is a lot of back and forth, but it could be something like, well, because I can't make the meeting because I'm literally on a plane at that time. And you're kind of, oh, okay. And even in that particular case, we were like, okay, well, this is how we will adjust for that. We can record the meeting. We can make sure you have the notes. If you have any questions ahead of time, let me know what they are. We will make sure that they get answered and recorded on the meeting because we can't change the meeting or I can't interrupt this time for whatever reason, but we can accommodate as best as possible. So I would say find out what and why that is. And it also depends on who it is. If it's your mom and you're like, I can't do it because I need this, and she tries to come with mom guilt, then just be like, oh, mom, I can't, but this is when I can do it. And hopefully she'll be okay. Hey, it depends on your mom. I don't know. But it's very contextual. So, but that's how I would approach it. And the first few times that you do it, almost expect the pushback, expect the questioning, because people are not used to you doing it. They're used to you saying yes, 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 and they're gonna be like, wait, what? 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 It's gonna freak them out. And just you explain, this is what I need. And you can even say, this is in order for me to be the best for you, I need this time, or this cannot budge, but this is when I can do it. And again, depending on who it is, you know, the pushback, it might be like they might just get upset. And sometimes you just have to live with that. If it's your boss, that's a different story. And we've had to talk a little bit about what the exact situation is.
Had some great comments in the chat. People
Oh,
really needing and relating to the session, and yeah.
I love this one from Karina, that sometimes people assume things are part of our job because we've always said yes. Yes, but we may need to pull out our job description and have the discussion about why we're going to start saying no. Yes. No, saying no to a task. We don't always have to say yes to things forever and ever. And that is exactly right. And I find that job description is especially if it's something within work, job description is your best friend. But don't be like, listen, it's not in my job description. Like, things are changing. More things are coming on my plate. It's not, I used to do this because I had the time or I was available, but, situations are changing and I'm not going to be as available and blah, 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 blah. I'm not going to be able to do this anymore. Because I really have to focus on the things that are like the main things in my job description. And maybe I can help you find somebody else to do it. Maybe we can get a volunteer to do it. Maybe I can help you show you how to delegate it, like whatever that is. The whole thing is, don't be like, in your setting boundaries, don't be like rude and evil and mean about it, right? Because people are people, and nobody is out to be like, how can I ruin your day today? Like, nobody leaves the house saying, how can I ruin this person's day today, and how can I get that's just not. People are so consumed in their own everything that they have to get done that they're not even realizing how they can be impacting you that way. So just have the conversation with grace, but with grace and intention, but also letting them know, hey, I want to be here for you. And the best way for me to be here for you is that this is what I need in order to get you what you need. This is good stuff. Yes, people are trained not to take things from others. If you hang on to the ball, no one will take it from you. The only time anybody's trying to take the ball from you is in basketball and football. That's it. Every other time they're like, you can hold on to it. I'm good. Yes. When everybody's, it's okay. Just let it sit there. It'll be okay. Well, listen, I don't want to stall if for whatever reason. I will happily give you back the gift of time. And that's 8 minutes that was already carved out on your calendar. Do something for you. Don't book another thing. You can get something in for the next 3 minutes. Like, go get some water or go for a walk, or I don't know, use that time for you.
Yes. Thank you so much, Nicole. It was so great to have this session, and I know that people really enjoyed it. We do have our Live Academy evaluation, so if you are able to fill that out for us, we would love to hear from you. Also, just wanted to throw out a big thank you to Gretchen, who has been our association manager for years and has really helped our organization get to the point where it is today. You are so loved and you will be so missed, but we know you're not going very far. And we know how to keep a hold of you, but respect boundaries at the same time. So thank you to everybody for joining us today. Have a wonderful end to your year.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.